Namaste. This is now our 18th talk on the Bhagavad Gita, picking up in the 4th chapter, the 7th verse. Krishna has told Arjuna that he is born on earth by his own will, by his own volition, because he's an infinite being. Why is he born? Everything has a reason behind it. So then, he is said, although birthless and imperishable, although the Lord of all beings, controlling my own prakriti, I come into manifested being by my own power of Maya. Oh, I didn't expect about Maya, did I? Maya is sometimes called delusion. It is appearance. And as finite, fallible beings, we can mistake appearance. We could not know its extent, or we could not know its purpose, or we could not know even its very nature. So it isn't that God is fooling us, but it is that God is, in a sense, putting us into kind of a asleep while awake or awake while asleep condition, a kind of awake while dreaming condition. And you see, God isn't really creating the world like somebody would make a model or a statue of something, you see, or a painting of something. It's a concept in the mind of God. So let's just say God fantasizes or God dreams this creation, and we're all dreaming along with him because we are irrevocably part of him, though distinct from him. So Yogananda actually gave a talk with the interesting title, Awake in the Cosmic Dream. This is what we're striving for, to awake in the dream, not from the dream necessarily. We won't get enlightened and disappear, but we will wake. All right. So why does he do this? Why does he come? Whenever dharma decreases and there is the arising of adharma, then do I manifest myself. Dharma, actually, it fundamentally just means quality. But in this case, it means that quality which is our essential nature and God's essential nature. And dharma is that mode of living, thinking, and acting that culminates in the perfect manifestation in the outer world and perfect realization in our inner world of the absolute. So dharma is both action and the principles behind the action. We get hungry, so we eat. So dharma is both knowing why and doing the therefore this is done. And there is Sanatana Dharma, the eternal Dharma, and we're Sanatana, so we need to get the whole big picture. Sorry, I was looking to see if I had the book to show you, but I don't. So not that it's all contained in a book, but the book entitled Sanatana Dharma. All right. So adharma both means not dharma in the sense that, one, there isn't any dharma. People don't know what to do in people's individual lives. Their lives are adharma or adharmic because they don't understand. They don't have the principles of real life. So it's an absence. And then sometimes adharma means that which goes against dharma, which is a denial of Dharma, as a lie is the opposite of truth. And a lie covers truth. And therefore, it's truly a heinous thing. So, when people neither know how they should live or how they should, or what the principles are behind that, then a Dharma is there. It's present. So, then do I manifest myself? In other words, the truth, the absolute truth, comes into the relative world to reveal to us the principles that are the truth, to reveal Dharma to us, to show Dharma to us, first by the avatar's own action, and then by the avatar's teaching. For protection of the righteous, because when there is no Dharma to know, even people that have attained a good state in a previous life could, through ignorance, go astray, do negative things, and lose that purified status they had gained before. And it says the destruction of evildoers, because this sometimes happens with the avatar, not all. But even Jesus, he didn't fight anybody. He didn't have an army. The people who opposed him never got killed. But yet, Simeon, the great prophet, when Jesus was brought to the temple to be dedicated 40 days after his birth, Saint Simeon took him in his arms and said, "This child is for the rise and the fall of many in Israel." In other words, those who would heed Jesus, they would rise. They would come out of darkness into the light, and they would evolve and grow. And those who would refuse to see him, either because they were too ignorant to understand or because they subliminally understood, but they didn't want to follow the way of light, they fell and they went into greater darkness than they were before. So this happens. And so, you see, we love our habits, we love our addictions so much that those who oppose them, we say, well, you hate me, or you're a hateful person, or you're antisocial. So, of course, he wasn't for the destruction of the pure spirit that was doing evil, but he was for all the evil that was blinding that spirit and impelling it to more ignorance and more evil. So ultimate destruction is not what's meant here. The elimination of what needs to be gotten rid of for the revelation of the indestructible spirit. For the establishment of Dharma, I manifest myself from age to age. Now, there's a whole thing about yugas and ages through which we pass. Let's just say that the creation goes through stages of rising and falling, evolution and devolution, because see, everything is dual, so it has to be this way. Of light and understanding, and of cloudiness and lack of understanding. And there are ages where very little is known and understood. There are 4 kind of yugas. In the first yuga, the highest developed person, or in general, the general populace, functions with 1/4 of their potential. That's it. Then in the next stage, 50% is the general condition of the people. The one after that, it's 75% of their potential. And in the final one, Satya Yuga, the era of truth, revelation of the truth, it's 100%. We're now in Kali Yuga, and it's the 25%. Those of you who've read Autobiography of a Yogi, please don't bother to email me and say we're not in the Kali Yuga, we're in the Dwapara Yuga. We are in the universal Kali Yuga and in the Dwapara Yuga of the little cycle. So we are smarter than we were before, but we're smarter in being deluded. Now everybody's walking around going like a complete moron. I've seen people sit for 1 hour and not take their eyes off their smartphone, just going. That is stupid. That is really stupid. Therefore, we can kill people better. We have atomic bombs now. We have, it's said, even worse weapons, so we can kill more people efficiently. We're able to warp people's minds and captivate people's minds and subliminally affect people. So we're a lot smarter in wrong. Luckily, we're smarter in, say, medicine and the areas of life that are beneficial. But you see, there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's always a trade-off in this world. Please be aware of that. So, I manifest myself from age to age. We could go through this avatar of the past, but it's just history and it's theory. You and I weren't there. We wouldn't know if it was true or not. He who knows in truth my divine birth and action, leaving the body as not born again, he comes to me. Now that has two aspects. Those who meet the avatar, and most people do not meet the avatar, consider the population of the world and the fact we're living on this globe. So how many people saw the Ram avatar? How many people saw Krishna? Relatively, almost no one. And then of those, only those who recognized what he was, and what they were, they profited. And it comes on another level of you and I, because we're all avatars too, in a way. We're little models of God, smaller images of God. So we too are avatars, since our inner essence is divine. So if we know the truth of our birth, why we were born, what caused it, and we know the action that is a manifestation of our true self and our true being, then at the end of this term in our body, we won't come back again. We will go into a higher world where our true self is always more obvious, not fully obvious. And then in that world, we evolve because we remember what happened down here and we go to a higher world. It's like passing from one grade to another in school. And therefore, we have to know, especially our avatar. Even if we don't believe, there are certain, for example, there's a very fine organization in India called the Arya Samaj. They don't believe in avatars. I mean, I don't know how they get around this in the Gita. And I remember when I met one of the greatest scholars of India, a holy man, and he said, "We don't believe in these sons of God." Well, I thought, oh, it's all right. It didn't bother me. But you see, in the place where they had their meetings and activities, It was very large, and there was a huge library there. And they had some pictures, such as what are on either side of me, of the gods, because they do believe in the gods. And then I was seeing there, and then I saw, oh, there's another picture. It was say, oh, I maybe say 50, 40, 50 feet away. But I could just see a bit. So I looked all around and looked to see, and what was it? It was Sri Ramakrishna. Yes, an avatar, born as a human. And I said to him in my mind, I knew you'd get in here somehow, because he is so inspiring of love and admiration that, of course, he was there. So, anyway, the important thing is we're all avatars and we all have a mission. We need to restore the righteousness in ourselves and wipe out, expunge, dissolve that which is unrighteous in us. So each one of us is a little universe to be saved, or a world to be saved by the avatar. And then we don't need birth here. And then we go to higher and higher grades. Is there an end to it? Well, of course there is. I say this because in the West, there's this eternal progression theory, which, if you want to believe, is all right. It doesn't harm you. All right, then. Free from greed. So we're going to talk about what kind of person this is, because you could meet people who sit there and they can talk Vedanta, they can talk non-dual wisdom, and they can mind game. But how do you know what their real state of consciousness is? Sometimes they've just read books and they're acting a part. So, what are the traits? How we know about ourselves? We don't need to wonder if other people, there are people, their whole life is in what other people should be doing instead of them. St. Peter alone cursed and swore and said, I don't know the man, in reference to Jesus. Even Judas didn't do that. Judas maybe betrayed him for money, but Judas didn't say, I don't know who he is and I have nothing to do with him. How was it that St. Peter could do that? How was it that he didn't have the safety net, so to speak, to keep him from doing that? He was always saying, well, what should he do? Well, what should he do? Even at the ascension of Jesus, just before he left, and of course didn't really fly up into heaven, he arose and went to India, of course, and lived in India quite some time more. But either way, at the time before Jesus' disappearance from Israel, St. Peter says, well, Jesus, what should he do? And he points at St. John the Apostle. And if Jesus, of course, says, sensible, what's that to you? And that's how we should be doing. Often we'll hear, this person said this person did that. This person is going to do this and that. We say, blah, 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 blah. But we should be saying, well, what about me? You know, it's a very wise song, kind of the folk song, that says, it's not my mother, not my father, not my brother, not my sister, but me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Yes. Physician, heal thyself. That is really, really a very essential lesson to learn. And we are only less than 1 minute away from what I was building up to talk about. Oh, yes, I heard you. So Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you for your kind attention and your patience. I know I have the wandering mind, and I can't promise you it'll be better in the future. So, if you like, I hope you see me again.